Good day everyone, I am Jerwin Dermudo and I'm here to recite Rule 117 of the Rules of Criminal Procedure, which is entitled Motion to Quash. This rule provides the procedure and grounds by which an accused may challenge the validity or sufficiency of a criminal complaint or information before entering a plea. Now let's proceed to the section 1 of Rule 117. Time to move to quash. At any time before entering his plea, the accused may move to quash the complaint or information. Section 2. Form and Contents. The motion to quash shall be in writing, signed by the accused or his counsel, and shall distinctly specify the factual and legal grounds. The court shall consider no ground other than those stated in the motion, except lack of jurisdiction over the offense charged. Section 3. Grounds. The accused may move to quash the complaint or information on any of the following grounds. A. That the facts charged do not constitute an offense. B. That the court has no jurisdiction over the offense charged. C. That the court has no jurisdiction over the person of the accused. D. The officer who filed the information had no authority to do so. E. That it does not conform substantially to prescribed form. F. That more than one offense is charged except when a single punishment for various offenses is prescribed by law. G. That the criminal action or liability has been extinguished. H. That it contains averments which, if true, would constitute a legal excuse or justification. And lastly, I. That the accused has just been previously convicted or acquitted of the offense charged, or that the case was dismissed or otherwise terminated without express consent. Now let's move to the section 4 of the Rule 117, which is the amendment of the complaint or information. If the motion to quash is based on an alleged defect which can be cured by amendment, the court shall order that an amendment be made. But if the motion is based on the ground that the facts charged do not constitute an offense, the prosecution shall be given an opportunity to correct the defect by amendment. The motion shall be granted if the prosecution fails to amend or the defect remains. This means that if the problem can be corrected, the prosecution is allowed to amend. But if it cannot be fixed, the motion to quash shall be granted. Section 5. Effect of sustaining the motion to quash. If the motion to quash is sustained, the court may order that another complaint or information be filed, except as provided in Section 6 of this rule. If no new information is filed within the time allowed, the accused shall be discharged, unless held for another charge. This means that if the motion is granted, a new information may be filed, unless the ground is final, like double jeopardy. If no case is filed, the accused must be released. Section 6. Order sustaining the motion not a bar to another prosecution. Exception. An order sustaining the motion to quash is not a bar to another prosecution for the same offense unless the motion was based on the grounds of extinction of criminal liability or double jeopardy. Usually, the case can be refiled, except when it was dismissed due to double jeopardy or extinction of liability, in which case it becomes final. Now let's move to the Section 7 of Rule 117. Former conviction or acquittal, double jeopardy. When an accused has been convicted or acquitted, or the case against him dismissed or otherwise terminated without his express consent by a court of competent jurisdiction, upon a valid complaint or information, the conviction or acquittal shall be barred to another prosecution for the same offense or any offense necessarily included therein. This means that once a person has been convicted, acquitted, or otherwise the case was dismissed without his consent, he cannot be prosecuted again for the same offense. This is the rule on double jeopardy. Section 8. Provisional dismissal. A case shall not be provisionally dismissed except with the express consent of the accused and with a notice to the offended party. Such dismissal becomes permanent after 1 year for offenses punishable by up to 6 years or after 2 years for graver offenses if not revived. This means that a provisional dismissal is temporary, but it becomes permanent after 1 or 2 years if the case is not revived. Now let's move to the last section of the Rule 117, which is Section 9. Failure to move to quash or to allege any ground therefore. The failure of the accused to assert any ground of a motion to quash before he pleads to the complaint or information, either because he did not file a motion to quash or failed to allege the same in a said motion. shall be deemed a waiver of any objections based on the grounds provided for in paragraphs A, B, G, and I of the Section 3 of this rule. This means that if the accused fails to file a motion to quash before entering a plea, he waives his rights to question most defects in the information.